Hi guys, Jeff here. I was talking to one of my mentees in the week and we were talking about putting in new services and keeping our surveys up to date and relevant. And we were talking about the internet and how that reflects on how people use their homes and what they might consider to be an important feature of the house. And so I thought I'd start a little discussion here today to see what other people think about how you might go about adding that sort of thing into surveys. Obviously not necessarily included in level twos, but certainly the bespoke nature of level threes can certainly allow for this to happen. And I tend to think that, as things develop through time, we need to be abreast of those kinds of things that might be important to our clients to add value into the surveys. So particularly of importance might be people moving to the countryside that have jobs that require high speeds and good connection. Families also need good connectivity these days, and some houses lend themselves to that and some don't. So I thought we'd have a think about what we could put in, and the sort of things I've been thinking about is how you get a good internet signal throughout a house. So for example, in period properties where they've got really solid walls, that is really quite tricky to do, and it may not have occurred to somebody that might be a problem. So there are sort of things that you can do. Have repeater stations. You can use mesh routers and things like that. So there are things that we might be able to suggest to do that. There's also the speed test you can do for the internet, which is a ping test. Now, we probably can't do that as part of the survey, but it might be something that you could very simply instruct the vendor of how they could do it and to give them the readings and what that may or may not mean for their particular industry. And then I thought, well, there's also period properties and listed buildings that you don't really want people hacking into floorboards and hacking into plasterboard, and where it might be better to put some of the cabling to pull it through existing trunking, for example. And then again, there's the kind of service that is provided. In some villages, for example, they have their own independent hub which you can connect into. So there's lots and lots to talk about on the topic of the internet. And whilst it may not be a defect, I certainly do think that it's something that we need to keep in mind so that we can inform our clients of the impact of how the building might respond to that kind of requirement that they want. And you never know, they might think, absolutely, thanks for telling us that, because we absolutely need that kind of service. So for example, people that are in graphics, they need high speeds. People in finance also need that. And if they're moving from the cities where it is relatively easy to achieve that to the countryside and suddenly finding out they can't peddle their wares, as it were, on the internet, that could be a big problem for them. So I'd hand it over to you guys. Put in the comments below what you might think about for the internet.